Dana Foster. Thank you so much for joining me tonight on Hope During the Holidays, a new holiday segment for Sun Valley Community Television. Tonight, we're going to be talking about anxiety. I personally have struggled with anxiety and panic attacks for quite a while since I was in my 20s. I remember having my first panic attack in Vancouver on a busy highway, four way, or busy intersection in Vancouver, and I froze. So it's taken me a while to figure out how to manage. I'm getting annoying feedback here. Anyways, I guess I'm live. Hey, so what I've noticed recently, and it's still bothering me, so I'm gonna actually take this off because it's going to echo and you might be able to hear it. So there. Okay. So I wanted to start a new segment because I know what it's like to struggle with anxiety. I know what it's like to struggle with panic attacks, and it's not fun. It's not fun to go through it alone. Right now, our world is being shaken through the COVID-19 pandemic. We're seeing a huge rise in addiction and mental health concerns. And on December 9th of this year, the BC Chiefs Coroner report stated that there was 201 suspected illicit drug overdoses in October. And that's not okay. Making it also this year being the record year of 1,792 deaths. With also the addition of heavy rains and floodings, it just felt like it was time to try to bring in some hope for us that are struggling. And so today is our very first episode of Hope During the Holidays. Tonight is about anxiety and how to manage it. And I'm so excited to have my friend Tara Evans join me tonight.
All right, and we are now joined with Tara Evans from Nourishing Bliss Wellness. Thank you so much for joining us today, Tara. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Thank you, Dana. Thank you so much for having me. I feel really honored to be a guest on your show today. So I am a certified trauma-informed breathwork facilitator. And for those of you who may not be aware of breathwork, what breathwork allows us to do is to just to unhook our minds. So often we can just get caught up in our minds. And what it allows us to do through our breath is it allows us to connect into our bodies. We so often have this disconnect between our mind and our bodies, and our bodies hold so much. And so what the breath work allows us to do is it allows us to just let everything else go, let our minds just be, and then really allow us to drop into our bodies and connect with what is there.
Well, how did you get into this? What is your story? What is your story of hope?
Well, the fall of 2019, I was suffering from burnout. At the time, I did not know that is what I was going through. I've always kind of come from the mindset of just, pushing through. You just got to keep going no matter what's going on. You just got to keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, taking care of everyone else except myself. My own self-care just kept getting pushed to the bottom, and my stress levels were through the roof. And everything just kind of kept compacting to the point where I felt like there was something off with me, but I was ignoring it. I was like, no, it's fine. You'll just keep going, keep going. To the point where it took my body to like scream at me to get my attention and to just kind of stop. And that happened in the form of January 2020, just after the holidays. Of I had a really, really big anxiety attack.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what was going on with me. I thought like I was losing my mind. I thought like what is happening?
Right.
And really, again, it was my body screaming at me to just stop,
Mm-hmm.
to get my attention. And so from that point, I started this healing journey, and there was lots that I needed to heal from. And again, it gets stored in our bodies, and we push it down, right? Because we don't want to deal with it. We don't want to feel it. If we can just
Mm-mm.
push it down, it's like
Put
we're
anything over top
numbing
of
out, right?
it.
We're
Yeah,
numbing out.
avoid.
So it's like, and again, it gets stored in our bodies. And it took that moment for my body to scream
Mm-hmm.
at me, like, whoa, you need to deal with this. You need to
Yeah.
feel it. And you need to start healing. And so that was, of course, pre COVID. And then
Right.
COVID
Mm-hmm.
comes in. So I
Yeah.
was just at the beginning of my healing journey. And how breath work came into my life, I had started to see about it just as I was like, kind of um, seeking out different modalities to put into my tool belt along my healing
Mm-hmm.
journey.
So
And
you you did have a lot of tools already previously for healing, but can you explain a little bit more about those tools that you used when you didn't have any support?
well, what I was doing, I found that movement was something that really helped me to kind of like get into my body. I felt like whenever I was moving, I would be able to move that like energy out of me. I knew when I could feel it. I was starting to get a little bit more aware of that feeling that I had been ignoring. And so whenever I would feel it, I'd be like, okay, I got to get out for a walk. I need to just kind of be. And so there was that. I also started seeing a counselor, which I found to be very beneficial. It allowed me to be able to talk to somebody outside of my people, right? Just kind of like that unbiased voice. Um, and again, in that avenue, there was a lot of things that started coming up that I was like, whoa, okay, there's
Yeah.
still a lot of work that needs to be done. And then,
Yeah.
of course, COVID came in, and we know everything that came along with that. And I kind of found again that I was starting to slip back into that role of taking care of everything, everyone else, making sure that was all taken care of. And I was starting to slip back down. And the stress levels were starting to get up, a lot higher, even though I started to lean into those tools that I had. It wasn't enough. There was still more healing that needed to be done.
Yeah.
And then May of 2020 um, was like, it was May long weekend. And I remember saying to my husband, him and the kids were outside playing, and I was not feeling like myself again, like completely kind of like out of my body. And it was just like this, there was just this intense feeling. There was this darkness that was coming
Mm-hmm.
in, a lot of intrusive thoughts that
Yeah.
were coming in, and I didn't know what to do with those. It
Oh, I
was
completely
very
understand.
such a
Yes.
foreign feeling. It was very terrifying. And I just remember calling him in, and I was crying and I couldn't stop. And I said, I'm not okay. I'm not
Oh,
okay. And I need
yeah.
help.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah. And so it
Yeah.
was in that moment that I knew that everything that I had been doing, I had to just kind of stop everything and focus on me. And I had this conversation with my doctor, And even though it was so hard, because again, I felt so alone. I felt like, again, that I was like crazy, that I was losing my mind. And that is such a terrifying feeling when that is happening, like when you're no longer in control. And so I
Terrifying.
had, yeah,
Absolutely. I
absolutely.
know exactly that feeling.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell
And
us a
so,
little bit? Oh, sorry.
no, 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 that's okay. And so again, it was
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
just going back to, again, just kind of halting everything and knowing
Yeah.
that this was a time that I truly needed to come first,
Yeah.
that everything else could wait, whatever needed my attention, that I would get to it at some point, but right now it was me, my own health, that was so very important. And what was such a big thing for me was the fact that, and I remember having this conversation with somebody, whenever we're like, we have a physical illness, if we're sick, we have a cold, or like, we
Yeah.
twist our ankle, we immediately seek attention for that. But when it
So
comes
true.
to our mental health, um, it's something, because there's, such a stigma around it, that we feel
Yeah.
like it's something that we need to hide, something that, oh, I
Hmm.
can I can deal with this on my own, or you're seeking out ways to numb so that you're not feeling that, so that you're like putting that any signs, kind of
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
But it is mental health is just as
Oh,
important as our
well,
physical health.
that leads me to my next question about how did you create this new community of support? You've asked for help, you recognized you needed help, and then you got into breath work. Can you tell us a little bit about that new community of support you have?
Absolutely. So it was after that point, that I discovered breath work. So it had captured my attention prior to that, but I felt like with what breath work would do is that it would start to bring up things that I wouldn't know what to do. Like I wouldn't know how to handle them, that I wouldn't know. Um, Again, it was just that fear that was blocking me from truly accessing those parts of me. So one day I signed up for this 4 hours. So going from like fearful of of um, of of breath work, or what it would bring up for me, to signing up for a 4 hour workshop. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I went in. At the end of those 4 hours, I was changed. I was changed. And what I had
Changed.
learned through that was that I could create safety within my body to be able to handle anything that could come up, that the people who were guiding were able to hold that space for me, so that if anything were to come up, that they were holding that space for me, so that I felt safe enough that I could handle it.
Mm.
And it brought up a knowing that everything that I needed, everything that I was seeking, was already inside. And what the breath work allowed me to do was it allowed me again to unhook my mind, because that's where all of those, the fear, where the doubts, all of those, the negative thoughts were happening. But it was my body that was just craving that awareness, that attention, that love, that healing. And after those 4 hours, it was so life changing for me that I knew that it was something that I needed. I was just feeling this call that I needed to share this with everyone.
Oh,
And I felt that, but it was like, okay, I'm just going to continue on my own healing journey,
so
because
true.
I had
Yeah.
so much to heal from. And I finally made the decision. It was later that summer that yes, I couldn't ignore that call any longer.
Yeah.
And so I sought out the training, and I did an intensive 6 month just immersive program to become a trauma-informed breathwork
I love it.
facilitator. And that trauma-informed aspect was so,
Mhm.
so important for me, because I knew when I was starting my healing, just that fear, that numbing that I was seeking. But it was because, again, I was fearful of that I wasn't going to be able to handle what was coming up. So it was so, so important for me to get that training, to be able to hold that space for others who have had that trauma in their life, who, hold on to that fear in their bodies, so that through their breath, that they're able to access those parts of them, to unlock them, so that we can feel to heal. And I have, it just, every time I get to do this work, every time that I get to witness somebody in their process, knowing that they're on this healing journey and that I get to be a part of that, is just so rewarding. Um,
Mhm.
you
I
know,
love it.
just to, there is so much hurt, there's so much trauma in our world, and especially, with what we're facing daily right now, that having this modality and knowing that our breath is here, that it's something that we're not needing to seek outside of ourselves, it's already
Yeah.
right here, that
Yes.
it's so accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this so much, and I want to share to people that don't know that you actually have a huge long background, and that's how we met in broadcasting. So a really big transition, and it's so awesome and so brave of you to just be like, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah.
going. Yeah.
Yeah. I was in the
Um.
broadcasting industry for
Yeah.
19 years, and
Yeah.
there was always this part of me that I knew there was more, but again, there was that fear, that doubt, that kind of kept pushing it down. But I knew deep down,
Yeah.
again, but it took this journey to get
Yeah.
here. And um, I'm so grateful for having to go through that darkness,
Hmm.
because on the other side of darkness, there's light, and it's beautiful.
I love it. Well, again too. So I also suffer from anxiety and panic attacks, and I've been able to take some of your classes. So yay! We're going to go through a breathing exercise with Tara right now. So I'm going to let her take it over from here. And thank you so much for watching.
Absolutely. Again, just know, I'm so honored to be here, and I feel so much gratitude for being able to share this with all of you. So again, with breath work, what it allows us to do is it allows us to unhook our minds to be able to connect into our bodies. And I always say that breath work is for people who have a hard time meditating. Again, because with meditation, we're having to focus so much again up here in our minds. But if we're tending to get caught up here, our breath allows us to connect into our bodies. And I kind of like to say sometimes that breath work is like meditation on steroids. You just come out at the end just with this true feeling of ease, and it just allows us to shift our state. Um, so what I would like to invite you to do today, with this is just a breathwork pattern that you can use anytime that you're starting to feel like you're starting to feel tense, you're starting to feel anxious, maybe you're feeling overwhelmed starting to come in. Anytime when you're feeling like up here in that fight or flight state. And what this will allow us to do, it will allow us to calm, just bring in that rest, and just allow our nervous system to settle. So this is a box breath, and this is something that I love to do. Again, when I'm feeling that anxiousness starting to come in. And this is a breath pattern that you can do anywhere. So we're going to use an inhale through our nose and an exhale out the mouth. And then we're going to do that inhale for a count of 4. And then we're going to hold our breath for a count of 4. And then we're going to exhale that breath for a count of 4. And then we're going to hold for a count of 4. And that pattern there, you can repeat it as many times as you need. So I invite you now, if you feel called to participate, let's do the box breath. So we're going to do that inhale for 4.
Okay. I feel called to participate, so I'm joining you.
And then we're going to hold it here for 4. And exhale for 4. Hold for 4. We're going to do one more round. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold for 4. Let's do one more round. Take a nice big deep belly breath in through the nose. Hold for 4. Oh, I didn't exhale, but holding. And then exhale for 4. And then hold here for 4. And that's a breath pattern that you can use anywhere, anytime, and it just allows your nervous system just to settle. And I invite you just to notice just that settling, that shift that you notice whenever you bring in that breath. And it's amazing what we can do because our breath is natural. But when we consciously breathe, just using that breath pattern, and it allows our mind to then focus on our breath, it starts to create that shift. And you can settle that nervous system.
That sounds like a perfect, easy tool to use during if you're with family, if maybe you're triggered, if you're dealing with grief or addiction. That sounds like an easy, simple, quick tool to take out of my recovery belt to use. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tara, for joining us today. Now, what is it that you hope to accomplish with Nourishing Bliss Wellness, and where can people go to find out more about your work?
My goal is just to help people to truly live authentically, coming back to themselves, to find that joy and freedom again. And through that healing again, just to live their authentic life of feeling free and feeling so much joy. And there's different ways that you can work with me. I do offer private one-on-one sessions. I also do group sessions as well, group workshops, group programs. And you can find me on Facebook, Nourishing Bliss Breathwork. And if you're on Instagram, you can find me there, Nourishing Bliss with Tara.
Oh, Tara, thank you so much. And thank you so much for all the work and sharing your story today. It's been great chatting with you.
Thank you so much. And I just want to wish everyone a happy holiday. Thank you so much, Dana, for having me. I feel so honored.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. That was our first episode for Hope During the Holidays. We're going to be sharing stories, interviews, and resources and tips to handle stress, to handle grief, to handle sobriety. If you're going through any of these challenging times during the holiday, and just to give you a little bit of extra encouragement and hope. If you are suffering with anxiety, I encourage you to go to anxietycanada.com. And you can learn all about anxiety. You can create an anxiety plan. Also, there's a Mindshift CBT app that you can download onto your phone. I know for me, I have my Fitbit. I use anxiety tools all the time during the day, just to help me get through the day. Sometimes I do have to do a few extra breathing exercises, and I've had to make a lot of changes in my life in order for me to have less anxiety, to not have panic attacks, and just to learn to relax. So yeah, that's a few things that you can do. If you have some tools, if you suffer from anxiety and you have some tools that you want to share, please comment. Please make sure that you let us know what sort of tips and tools that you use to tackle your anxiety, worry, panic, perfectionism, social anxiety, or any of your phobias. Be sure to share with us what you use. And again, there is hope out there. Let somebody know that you're suffering. Let somebody know what's happening in your life. Just reach out. You are not alone. And I want you to know that. And I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there that love and care for you. So hang on. Again, learn about anxiety. Go to anxietycanada.com to find out more information, and then also reach out to Tara at Nourishing Bliss Wellness. I have taken a few of her classes, and I know for the last panic attack that I had I not gone through her breath exercises, I mean, man, that last panic attack was tough. And I'm so thankful that I had a true friend to help me through that time. And I'm so glad I had gone through Tara's breathing exercises. So get support. Find the people that who understand you. And that's all I have to share. So that's our first episode. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about grief. If you're going through grief this holiday season, I know a lot of us are. Be sure to join me again tomorrow night, and we'll be speaking with a grief counselor on getting through the holidays with your suffering through grief. So have a wonderful night, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Happy holidays.